Hello, lovers. Welcome to the Pleasure Studio with me, Melissa Louise, and
Serrita.
ah, welcome, honey.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, yes. And we're both so deeply excited to be bringing to you our offering, which we believe is going to change the world. It's the
Yes.
beginning of a revolution for us women, and that's the Topless Brunch.
Oh, yeah.
We were speaking about this on the 25th, actually, that whole planetary
Yes.
alignment, and here it is happening. And so we're just coming here to speak to you a little bit about it today, and explaining why, the how, and what it's really about.
Absolutely. You know, when I think about it, as you were talking, the word I heard in my head was freedom. That's what it's like.
Yeah.
Freedom, liberation, like stepping into my own power and coming out of hiding.
Coming out of hiding. This is a bit of a theme today.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why the breasts? And we were having a beautiful conversation before we hopped on, and we did a yummy Taoist deer breast massage practice, which we'll be bringing, there'll be lots of that as well. But when we're thinking about our breast stories, we really have to, understand what we navigate as women, because our breasts are, all men have nipples. So all humans have nipples. We all have breasts. Ours are a different size.
Yeah.
Ours fucking produce nectar and the nurturance for the human race to grow, and our breasts alchemize.
Yes.
When you're breastfeeding a baby, your milk changes because of the information it is receiving from the human that's on it. They are so incredible, and yet we are ashamed for them.
Yes.
We're vilified for them. We become public fodder because we have them.
Absolutely.
And this is that when we say the word reclaiming, it's really coming into the stories that we hold around our breasts, which are in front of our hearts. This is the other point, like this shame and guilt and fear that sits in front of our hearts.
Wow. You know, as you were talking, one of the most beautiful things that you can do is to nurture your baby. And as you were talking, I thought about how many times, because of the conditioning, have I walked past a woman who was doing something that's so natural, but because of the conditioning, why is she feeding her baby? Like, why does she have her breast out? Like, that's one of the most natural things that you can do. Yet it's kind of, I want to maybe a veil of shame or something like around it that people have put around it, and it's kind of sad.
The oxymoron that lies in this, because I've lived in I've stayed in refugee camps. And there's a story about breastfeeding for that. I've lived in Peru with my son, and all of these different cultures. And we live in a culture where, we cut ourselves, we feel ourselves, we try to make the perfect look around our body, yet we're so ashamed of it.
Yes.
And we are vilified for it, we're judged for it. And even in Australia, when I gave birth to my son, I was on the all women's political party, and this was one of the big issues around this, was like, trying to find cafes. It's like breastfeeding allowed here. We're not. Yes. We don't go somewhere going, are we allowed to do what's natural? It's like, fuck off. I have a kid. You came from a woman. The child needs feeding. This is your issue, not mine. And yet you go to places like Peru and Burma, women who are feeding their babies have their breast out on buses. You've got no man shaming. You've got no one looking. The only people looking and gapping are the stupid white people who can't fucking handle this stuff. And it's, and I understand your condition. Like, I was never going to have a child. So I remember before I had my child, before I went on that journey of the perception of what was going on, and that's uncomfortable for me, so you need to change it. And how we have cultural narratives based around women being women, and it's uncomfortable for the world that a woman is a woman.
Amazing.
So thank you for being honest about that, because that's another thing, is women are not honest about what's really going on with them when we're going past other women, and that's the first step.
True. I think that moving to Mexico gave me a different perspective on how, because I do see women breastfeeding here, and I see it all the time. And now I view it as being natural, but where I was raised in the DMV, it wasn't a natural thing to me. It was a, why is she doing that in public? And I had to go through, even myself, a relearning of, this is how it's supposed to be. This is one of the most beautiful things that you can do. You're nurturing your child. I mean, life. And I am the vessel that the life chose to come through. So I'm responsible for the nurturing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And this is, when this is so layered. This is also too, when we're talking about having a topless brunch, it's like, and then we start talking and let's start getting into these layers.
Yes.
Because when we're looking at the natural act of like our wombs, grow a human, the human comes out, and the symbiotic relationship of what's needed through what gets produced in the breast for the growth of the child physically, but also the brain development, and how that is as far as long as 2 years. Before the World Health Organization lost its value, they used to always talk about how a child needs to be fed from the breast for 2 years because of the component of the milk changed. And there's a part in the child's development at the age of 2 where the brain needs what's in the makeup of the milk. So when we have an industrialized society that needs to remove the power of women so they can make money. So it's shame. Oh, don't worry. We'll just give them cow's milk. We will just give it another animal's milk. You don't need to breastfeed, and you can just get back to work. You can get your freedom back. But we don't have freedom when we are making our children ill because now we have to work more and pay more and be more part of the system to fix them, because it's not just like ill, it's just the brain development is what we're dealing with in a society later on. So that isn't actually, we've fed this perception of freedom, but we're not fucking free, because then it's like, oh, my breasts don't work, or the whole natural way of like it doesn't. And the fact that, yes, I know for in there are journeys with women where they can't breastfeed, but this is where other women come into it. We've also vilified receiving milk from other women. That's a whole nother issue. We're not going to not issue, another story. I mean, living in Nepal, I'll just share this one story. I was up in the mountains, and God knows how I didn't die, but I was like so lost. Oh my God. And I found this track, and I'm coming up, and there's an older lady, like a really old, I mean, she looked 80 or 90. And she offered me her breast. And I was really confused. I'm like, no, it's fine. But she was offering her breast. And when I found myself back to the village, I was speaking about this at the table, and there's a guy who does all of this work for an orphanage or something. He goes, oh yeah, that's a real thing. It's like women don't stop breastfeeding until they stop breastfeeding. A woman's body will produce milk. And he's actually had that experience where he was lost in the mountains, and is way up in one of the villages. A woman offered his breast, and she actually squeezed it into a cup and gave it for nurture. And he was like, if I don't drink this, so he had to get rid of his conditioning. But this is, we will continue nurturing. And that's the thing with women. We nurture the community, not just our children. That's another conversation, as we know. Let's get back to our things.
I am looking forward to the embracing what's going to unfold at this brunch, because I feel like, for me, I see beauty. I also see shame. Also the stories. I have never dove in deep into what are the stories that these hold. And that to me is like, it's layers. It's many different layers. So I think this is going to be an amazing opportunity for healing and for opening up, because as someone who has hidden in plain sight, this is exciting for me to just to embrace like me and all of me and the beauty that exists within me, without putting a thought on it. This just as it is, or without labeling it as good or bad, just allowing it to be what it is,
I think, when we were speaking, when we created this, the huge core of it was our stories. What's our stories behind it? What are all the layers behind it? What's the expectations? Like our breast stories. And that was, it was just like ding, 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 ding. Going, what we hold. And And that's how we're going out in the world, because really, if we think of the plane of our body, our breasts walk into the room before we do.
That's very true. These are walking. They are meeting you, greeting you. Are you ready? They're ready.
Where is she? Her breasts are here. Where is she?
Is she here yet? Oh, we're here. Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, lovers, if you are in Mexico or you want to come down to Mexico, we're holding our first Topless Brunch on Sunday, the 16th of February.
Yes.
It's when you book in, I'll put the link below. You'll then receive emails, and we'll put you in a WhatsApp group so that you have the location. It's going to be very safe. No one can see into the venue whatsoever. It'll only be only the top of you will be topless. And also, if you want to come because this is something that would be really powerful for you, and you're not quite ready to have your top, that is so fine.
That's okay.
Come and be with women. Come and witness. Come and be in the energy if that's something that you need. So the link is below. You can ask us any questions, anything you need to know, and let's start our revolution.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
So mine. And the food's going to be amazing as well.
Yes.
All right, lovers, let us know. See you. We look forward to seeing you.